is a Thanksgiving song. I hope you enjoy it. Love to eat turkey. Love to eat turkey. I love you. To eat turkey, 'cause it's good. Love to eat turkey like a good boy should, 'cause it's turkey to eat. So good. That clapping's messing my head up, man. I appreciate it, but I was trying to think of the next line. I'm like, all I hear is clapping. Here we go. Thanks anyways. Turkey for me, turkey for you. Let's eat the turkey in my big brown shoe. Love to eat the turkey at the table. I once saw a movie with Betty Gffl. Eat that turkey all night long. 50 million Elvis fans can't be wrong. Turkey lurkey do and turkey lurkey that. I eat that turkey, then I take a nap. Thanksgiving is a special night. Jimmy Walker used to say dynamite. That's right. Turkey with gravy and cranberry. Can't believe the Mets traded Darryl Strawberry. Turkey for you and turkey for me. Can't believe Tyson gave that girl BD. Oh, white meat, dark meat, you just can't lose. I fell off my moped and I got a bruise. Turkey in the oven and the buns in the toaster. I'll never take down my Cheryl King's poster. Wrap turkey up in aluminum foil. My brother likes to masturbate with baby oil. Turkey and sweet potato pie. Sammy Davis Jr. only had one eye. Oh, turkey for the girls and turkey for the boys. My favorite kind of pants are corduroy. Gobble, gobble, boo, and gobble, gobble, giggle. I wish turkey only cost a nickel. Oh, I love turkey on Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
All right, boys, a little Thanksgiving song for you with the cast of characters on the old show. So, a lot of action this week in the GFFL. Pretty much this was the week it sealed the deal. Start this week, little notes on the message board. Some of you may or may not get it. Probably the big one was from the commish. He was so excited it brought him to tears. He was laying there in bed after the Monday night game has come to conclusion. Tears are slowly matriculating down my face. That is a big word for me. There are tears of happiness for a special fantasy owner. It's been nearly a decade since these emotions have truly overwhelmed me. Have to try to rest now, friends, but much more to come. Yep, a lot to come there. Big week for Cody Parkey, 20 points as a kicker. We'll get into that later. Also, big shout out to our friend Greg. Greg finally made it to the playoffs. First time, I think, in history, but I think he may have made it one other year. I don't remember. I can tell you who's not going to be in the playoffs. This guy here. You see me? But all in all, it was a good season. We still got this week yet, but pretty much everything's sealed and dealed. So a note from Greg. I'm pretty sure it's Greg. He'd like to thank each individual owner in our league, it's a wonderful season of fantasy. I put my whole heart into this season, found myself watching each and every week all the owners' teams playing, then the regular season games on TV. What an exciting race it was. The blowouts and the last-minute wins. It's been the best season I've ever witnessed in a long time. You guys all made it happen. My congratulations to you all. So, special thanks there from Greg, which is cool. We appreciate you, Greg. You took a break from the league, but you came back, and it's been a great season for you. A couple of your players really shined this year, or somebody else's players, mine, didn't shine. So, onward and upward, let's take a look. I don't think there was a lot on the old activity wire, all the waiver wire, and all that. Basically, Chris cut Pierre Garçon, the pride of Haiti. Addis Jonas Gray, who couldn't wake up to his alarm, showed up late to practice, was sent home, and was told, you're not going to play. So, great pickup there on your part, Chris. Good call. As for Tony, he cut Brandon Cooks, wide receiver for New Orleans, added Mike Evans, wide receiver for Tampa Bay. Good deal for Tony there. Even though he's out of it, like me and Kurz, he's still making an effort to field a team that's going to be, field a team, at least try to make things interesting. So thank you, Tony, for doing that. Upward, let's see here. So we'll go to the scores from last week. A lot of action. Probably a couple of games here that were interesting. Me and Rickman, please don't call me Denny, Rickman. He says, basically, him and I were close. I thought I had a chance to get him on Monday night, but the wheels fell off. So for Dennis, he had luck with 17, McCoy 16. Trent Richardson still got him 8. He's finally shown up. Alshon Jeffrey only got him 7. T.Y. Hilton, a huge week. Congratulations to T.Y. Hilton on the baby girl. He was crying the whole time. Denard Hopkins, 2. Phil Dawson, 5. And the Bills defense, which killed me, 15. As for myself, Russell Wilson, 10. Don't have another quarterback, and I don't really see anybody else out there that can do what he can do, so I stuck with him. Eddie Lacy, 23 big points for me this week, was huge. Denard Robertson only got me 5 this week. I thought he might get some garbage yards and maybe a late touchdown. The late touchdown didn't happen. Deshaun Jackson broke my heart this week, 39 yards total, just one lonely point. Mike Wallace, news anchor for 60 minutes, wheelchair and all, got me 8 points. Jimmy Graham, using that Graham connection, 15 points there. Was really hoping Jimmy would make it easy on me on Monday night, but that didn't happen either. Matt Bryant, 7 points. And the Jets defense was only able to muster 1 point. So, which killed me because of, I was hoping it would be the other way around. The Jets would have got me 15 and the Bills would only got 1, but the Bills are playing with passion because they're somewhere where there's not much snow and they're indoors so they can stay warm. So, only thing I could have done differently in my game is if I started Steven Jackson over Denard Robinson, that would have got me 6 more points, which wouldn't have amounted to a hill of beans. Or if I started Nick Novak, he would have got me 9. That's the only thing that really would have mattered. Larry Fitzgerald not playing hurt. And I made the play at Peterson, and of course that backfired too. So, as for Rickman, he left Isaiah Crowell, had 17 points, left him on the bench. Steve Smith also left him on the bench. There was another 11, so he could have had a total of 105, but he didn't need it in the end because my team sucks. And Dennis, don't call me Denny, Rickman goes on to win. Pretty much seals up the deal in that division there. As for the rest of the league, for Tony and Jonesy, that was a good game this week. A lot to go on there. Tony, went out and made the transaction. Tony made a surprise move. He normally sticks with Romo, went with Brady instead, which I like that call. Brady got him 24. Marshawn Lynch got him 6. Shane Vereen, Ben Vereen's brother, got him 4. Des Bryant, 18. Brandon LaFell, 7. Mike Evans, 7. There's a good pickup right there. Mason Crosby, 6. And the Packers defense, 4. Totaled out Tony, 76 points. As for Jonesy, he starts Peyton Manning, 27 points. Chris Ebony and Ivory, 1 lonely point. Anderson, for the running back for Denver, got him 20. A great week there for him. Andre Johnson, 1 point. Marcus Colston, 11. Jason Witten, 8. Adam Vinatieri, 11. Colts D, 8. A good week all around for Jonesy. He puts up 87 points to go on to win. Wasn't much Tony could have done to make a difference there. He put basically the best team he could on the field. The only difference being with Roma would have got him 1 extra point, which wouldn't amount to a hill and beans anyway. As for Jonesy, he had Eli had 26, but other than that, his bench was pretty. He pretty much had the best team. He could have done something different running back, maybe put in Sproles or Giovanni Bernard, but he left them on the bench in favor of Chris Ivory. So Jonesy wins 87-76. Good week all around there for Jonesy. Assures him a playoff spot for sure, and also makes it a little bit more interesting as we go forward. As for Brad and Wade, this was a must-win. Well, it wasn't a must-win for Brad, but it would have made things a little bit interesting in that division. For Brad, the big disappointment for Brad this week, Matt Stafford only got 9. He starts Phillip Rivers. It gets him 6 more. Gets him to 15. Forte, huge week, 22 points. Mark Ingram, 2 points. Roddy White, 7 points. You're welcome, Brad. Calvin Johnson, 5. Randall, 1. Costanzo, 3. And the Seahawks defense got him 5. A couple of plays Brad could have made. He could have started Fred Jackson, which would have got him 8. Or Phillip Rivers, like we mentioned. Still wouldn't have made up enough difference to beat Wade this week. Wade with the trio of Packers. Rodgers with 14 points. Not a great week for him, but still double digits. Jordy Nelson, 7, and Cobb, 5. So a decent week there. Anquan Bolden picked up the slack for him, 16 points for him. DeMarco Murray, a solid 10. Didn't find the end zone, but still. And Rashad Jennings, a solid 9 points. Eagles defense was massive for Wade this week, 17 points, and Gostkowski, 10. Other than that, Wade's team's pretty solid. His Bears defense would have got him 13, but Wade puts the best team he can on the field and comes out with a win, an easy win for him, 88-74. As for Fish and Kurz, Fish comes out on top here. A good game here. 77 points for Fish. Kurz with 56. Brian Hoyer, 13 points. Jamal Charles, 15. Alfred Morris, 16. The top 3 positions, you double figures, as a good week there. Vincent Jackson, 8 points. Couldn't find the end zone, but still had over 100 yards. Brandon Marshall, 32 yards. Not a great week for him. Josh Gordon coming in for Cleveland. I didn't think he would be that good, but he came in with 120 yards, scored 10 points. Off a suspension from hitting the chronic or whatever he did. The Niners, 7 points. Dan Bailey, Beadle and Bailey, 7 points as well. Gives Rich 77 points. Rich left some points on the bench. Matt Ryan would have got him 6 more with 19. A couple else. Stanky could have got him 5 if he starts Stanky. Sanu would have got him 8. So Rich is running this. He's going to have some decisions to make at receiver now going forward. So for Kurz, we'd like to give a shout out to Kurz and congratulations to Kurz. He bagged this nice 8-point buck last weekend. Congratulations, Kurz. It's a pretty deer. The dog approves. That's not my dog, but way to go, Kurz. It's a good dog. That's a good deer, man. We'll look for some deer sausages at the old draft next year, maybe. Feel free to send a care package my way if you'd like. I'll take some deer meat. Good quality meat. But congrats on that deer, Kurz. That's a heck of a buck. As for me, I don't have a place to go hunting, so I didn't get squadoosh. The closest thing to buck I'll get is a duck hunt on Mario Brothers. So, Kerr's Cutler was a disappointment with 7 points. Killed him. Jaquez Bell 3, Tavian West 5, Macklin 6, Keenan Allen 15. A great week for Allen, finally showing up. Martellus Bennett 2, Tucker 11, Brown 7. Kerr's puts his best team on the field at 56 points, and it didn't matter anyway. So Rish wins easy. A good week there for Rish. Big win for him. And on to the game of the week. This game here was going to decide a playoff spot for somebody. So Greg and Chris come into this a massive battle, and both of them did not leave anything on the field. They just put it all out there. It was a great week for both of them, scores-wise. It was the first and second highest point total in the league this week, and somebody had to lose, and that's a tough week to lose for somebody. Greg, Andy Dalton, 14 points. I give Greg credit. He is stuck with Dalton through and through. I thought many times he should have changed and went to Ryan Tannehill. Tannehill would have got him 29 points this week, but he stuck with Dalton, and he stuck with him all season. I give him props for that because that's a tough call to make. Justin Forsett, 25 points. A huge week for him in Baltimore. 190 yards, 2 TDs, a great week. Jameer Hill, 12 points, 96 yards, and a TD. Demaryius Thomas, 3 TDs, 87 yards, 26 points. Green, 12 points for Smith, 5 points. Was 2 yards short of getting another 3. McManus, 7. The Patriots defense, 4. Gave Greg a total of 105. Mind you, Ryan Tannehill's on his bench with 29. Emmanuel Sanders, he could have started him, would have got him 10. Or Delonte Walker could have got him 11, but those two are on his bench. That could have came back to bite him in the ass, but it didn't. Chris comes out with Drew Brees, 31 huge points, a massive week for him. And normally when you see that, it's usually curtains for a lot of players. But what killed Chris was that he went out and picked up Gray from New England. Gray shows up late, can't answer his alarm clock, falls asleep, doesn't make it to practice in time, and then he doesn't play one down the next week, which gives Chris 0 points. Andre Ellington got him 5, not bad there. Julio Jones, 11 points. Odell Beckham, the catch of the year. I heard Steve Smith made a great catch Monday night, but I don't have cable, so I couldn't see it. But Odell Beckham, that was one of the most impressive catches I've ever seen. Rob Gronkowski, 5 points. And then the Parkey kid, 20 points. Quick connection there. He was signed by the Colts as a non-drafted free agent. Played ball at Auburn. The Eagles kicker situation was a disaster. The Colts made a traded him. I don't remember what they got. I think a conditional draft pick next year or something stupid. So that made the difference of the world right there. And Parkey has made every effort of his opportunity there in Philadelphia, and 20 points shows it. Plus, he missed a field goal. That's another thing. He missed a field goal. So he could have had 23 points. If he hits that field goal, Chris wins 106-105. He misses it, so it goes to Craig 105-103. A tough loss for Chris, putting up the second highest point total in the league. The only thing Chris could have done is found a running back that would have played. And the only one he had was Chris Johnson, and he chose not to start him, and it come back to bite him in the keister. So 105-103, Greg goes to the playoffs. Chris joins the rest of us in the best of the worst playoffs, which will start 2 weeks. So that's how that one shakes out. So let's take a look at where we stand division-wise now. In the North, Dennis Rickman has clinched the wild card. He's in for sure. He's clinched the wild card. He's in that for sure. He's at 8-4. Jonesy clinches a wild card spot. He is 8-4. He's in for sure. Greg clinches a wild card spot. He is in for sure. Greg's at 7-5. So Greg may still be able to sneak in and get this. I have to consult with our people at the GFFL statistician hotline. They will have to give me an update on that. But I think Greg still has an opportunity, a weird, crazy chance of winning that division. Chris, of course, is 5-7. Tough loss for him. Tough way to end the season for Chris. We all got one more left. And then Tony, of course, is at 3-9, making the best of it. You got Wade at 9-3. He's pretty much, if Wade wins next week, he's in. Fish loses, he wins the division, but right now it's Wade's division to lose. Fish 8-4, he's in the wild card for sure. Brad, he is in the wild card, but he has no chance of winning the division at 7-5. But he is in the playoffs again for the 145th year in a row. I think 17 in a row. I think he's 17 for 17 in our league and making the playoffs. I could be wrong, but there you got me and Kurz at 3-9, and of course me rounding out the worst team in the league at 2-10. So it'll be interesting as we go into next week here. A couple things to look at matchup wise. If we look, we're looking. Me and Kurz face each other. That game doesn't matter. It's just to see who's going to be tied. If we'll be tied for the worst record, or if I'm going to have the worst record. Brad and Jonesy. Big game for Jonesy. It's important for Brad for seeding wise, but it's really the game of the week right there. So if we take a look at that game there, Brad and Jonesy. Brad will have to make a decision at quarterback. Does he stick with Stafford against Chicago, or does he go with Rivers against Baltimore? Tough decision there to make. They're projecting Stafford to get 22 points. I don't know. He's going to stick with Forte at running back. His other running back, if Arian Foster comes back, you may want to go there or stick with Ingram. Last I heard with him is that he could return to the field Sunday against the Titans. So that's what they're saying. That's from the Houston Chronicle. So we'll see there. For Brad's receiving core, Calvin Johnson, Roddy White, you're going to probably stick with those two there. Your third wide receiver, you're going to probably go with, right now Brad's got Royal in there against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Probably a good call. Wes Welker hasn't been doing much for Denver, kind of a guy in the passing. Eddie Royale with Cheese against Baltimore with San Diego. If he starts Rivers, you may think about plugging in Royal there. I don't know. Kendall Wright against Houston, that may not be a bad play either. We'll see. Or Josh Brown with Arizona. So for Jonesy, he's going to start Peyton. We know that for sure. Running back, right now he has Chris Ivory in. He may consider Giovanni Bernard, but we'll see. Anderson in there as well. That's where Anderson may stick with it. He's playing well. Andre Johnson, receiver Marcus Colston, Jason Witten. Golden Tate may play into one of those spots. I think he could be a good start this week. And then Vinatieri, of course, at kicker against Washington. May not be a bad call. Prater may not be a bad call there either, but Jonesy, as we all know, is a homer, so he'll stick with the Colts as much as he can. And then the Colts D over the Broncos D. Either or there. I think the Broncos is a bigger game, and I think you're going to see the defense step up against Kansas City, but we'll see there. So a lot going on there. I like Jonesy this week just because, no disrespect, but to the commish, but Jonesy, when you got Peyton Manning, he has the opportunity to go off for 30, 40 points at a crack, and it's tough to beat a guy like that. So Tony and Chris, another game, it doesn't matter, so we're not going to go into it because it's the best of the worst. So it's either Tony wins, it makes him a little bit better than Kurz. If Chris wins, he's the best of the worst, so it doesn't really matter there. For Greg and Dennis, a lot going on there. Greg wins there, makes things very interesting to see who wins that division, especially if Jonesy loses. It may propel Greg into first place in the division, so a lot of action on this game here. Greg, currently right now, Greg is starting Ryan Tannehill at quarterback against the Jets. I like that call because the Jets suck. Justin Forsett, Jamil Hill, running back. They won last week. No reason why they wouldn't. On his bench, he's got Lamar Miller, who's really impressed me. Lamar Miller for the Dolphins. I've been seeing a lot of Dolphins games this year. I'm very impressed with him, and I think he could be a difference maker in that game. But Demaryius Thomas at receiver, Emmanuel Sanders, he's plugging him back in, and A.J. Green. All those guys could put up serious double figures. And it's tough to sit Torrey Smith in a week like this, particularly against San Diego. But I think if you're gonna need to put up big numbers against Dennis, don't call me Denny Rickman, and I think that's the way to go. McManus as your kicker, and then the Patriots defense. For Dennis, Andrew Luck, great quarterback. You're gonna stick with him. LaShawn McCoy. You may consider Trey Mason instead of Trent Richardson this week. We'll see. Or Crowell. He's been great. They're playing Buffalo. They're at Buffalo if they clear the snow out. I did hear something they may be playing somewhere other than Buffalo this week, but I don't remember where. Alshon Jeffries at receiver. T.Y. Hilton. If you're playing Luck, you're going to start with Hilton. Denard Hopkins as well for Houston. Hard to pick there, but I think either or Kelvin Benjamin, receiver from Carolina against Minnesota. I don't think that would be a bad choice there either. Phil Amanda Dawson, Claire Ott III. At kicker, and the Bills defense, what they put up this week, you might as well keep rolling with them. This game here is going to be a very tough game to call. I think Greg can pull it off. I'd love to see Greg pull it off. I'm going to go with Greg. He's kind of the Cinderella story, man from nowhere. So I'm going to go with Greg here. I like Greg a lot this week, so hopefully Greg will win. And as for Wade and Fish, Wade wins. He wins the division. Fish wins. I think he wins the division. I don't know. I have to consult with the Gffl odds people. For Wade, he's going to stick with the Green Bay threesome. Rodgers, Nelson, Cobb. His running backs are tough as hell. Jennings and Murray. His other receivers are going to be Bolden. Gostkowski at his kicker. Eagles defense. Keep playing with what works. I think Bears-Eagles doesn't matter. Your kicker is not going to matter much in this game. It's going to come down to your receiver play and if your running backs can keep doing what they've been doing. It's going to be a tough week for Green Bay. They're playing New England, and New England is coming to Green Bay, so I kind of like it. The weather is supposed to be cold and nasty, so it may be a ground and pound game, which would play to my favor. We'll see. For Fish, he's got Brian Hoyer, Jamal Charles, Alfred Morris. At quarterback, you may consider Matt Ryan this week, depending on they're playing Arizona. Arizona's offense is kind of not what it was since Palmer went on the DL. Shock. Carson Palmer hurt. Big shock. Receiving wise, Vincent Jackson, Brandon Marshall, Josh Gordon's who he's got plugged in right now. You know Brown for the Pittsburgh's coming back he's coming off a bye. He's going to play this week. So you're going to plug him in somewhere. Most likely, I like in Vincent Jackson's spot or Brandon Marshall. I think you got to stick with Josh Gordon this week at Buffalo. I think you got to keep playing him because I think he's going to go off again. I think he can put up another double-digit week. Beetle Bailey, kicker, or Mike Ted Nugent, either or there. It's a horse apiece. And then the Niners defense because he doesn't have another defense. This one right now, they're favoring Wade by 2. I think for Wade, what could cause a lot of trouble for Wade is that Green Bay is facing New England, and Belichick, the wizard, you never know what he's going to do. This will tell a lot about where the Packers are as a team and where their coaching staffs are at. So I think that game's going to be more of a ground game than it's going to be an air game, but we'll see. But I like Fish's team this week just because I think there's a little bit more balance there, and not all his eggs are in one basket. So I'll go with Fish this week. I think it's going to be a lot. I think it's a pick 'em, to be honest with you, but it's going to be a good week, I think. So, all right, gentlemen. So, get a quick commentary from our pal. What you talking about, Roland? What you talking about? So, I think that's going to wrap it up for this week, fellas. Have a good Thanksgiving. I hope you all have a good, healthy one. For those, be careful and safe. This week's when you have the most drunk drivers are out, and so be careful and safe when you're out and about, particularly if the weather turns nasty again. So be safe, and remember, tune in here every Tuesday for your GFFL podcast excitement.
And now the severe beating of a high school janitor.
Mop, 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 all day long. Mop, 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 while I sing that song. Gonna wax that floor, gonna make it shine. Gonna take off the spray paint with turpentine. Hey! Don't walk there, I just mopped! Hey! Get off of me! That's my pocket! Ah! Let go of my sideburns!
This is a song. This is